humor is an elixir for life. And I just thought, how interesting it would be to have that view, more often, that she just obviously it's just, wired into the way she sees things.
It's a certain glibness like that I just absolutely love. I mean, and she speaks in asides. Do you know what I mean? Like she'll say something and then she'll add something glib.
Just, I think everything she talked about, and of course, Tim, it's not as much, so many of the things women go through, but aging it's inevitable, right? We're going to age whether we don't want to or not. And it's not always pretty, and as we age, we want to be, look nice. We want to look pretty. And guess what? She's right. You got to do this full time to keep it up, whether it's pulling those hairs or whatever it might be.
It's work.
It's work.
Hey, everybody, this is Tim Hinton. I hope you will call me Beast. We are talking about a wonderful book by Nora Ephram tonight. I feel bad about my neck. I was sitting around. Well, first, let me say hi to everybody. Ginger Featherstone, how are you?
I'm fabulous. Thank you for inviting me and having an opportunity to read this wonderful, gave me great laughs book.
Yeah, absolutely. Mary White, how are you?
Always good to see you, Tim, and everybody else as well.
I should have said doctor for both of you, so I'm sorry. Dr. Ginger Featherstone and Dr. Mary White. Do you want to leave that out? Kristen Giesland, Mindful Seer, how are you, Kristen?
I'm happy to be here tonight.
I'm glad I'm getting to see you because I haven't seen you as much as I usually do since we have not been around in Tampa. So it's great to see your smiling face. And Jackie Gillies here. Jackie, how are you?
I'm thrilled to be here.
Well, we're excited to see you.
Friends.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is going to be really fun. So I actually really have been looking forward to this, ladies. And thank you for giving me a wonderful night. I always finish a book and then I think, okay, now what am I in the mood for next? Like, this is just the way this works for me. And usually I want something really different from what I just finished. So if I finished a serious Dickens novel, then I want to read something completely different, or science fiction. I'll go to historical, something, whatever. So I was sitting around thinking, I want to read something fun and light and funny. And I literally Googled, what are the funniest books? It was that scientific. And this came up really right away on a lot of lists near the top. And I thought, well, I love these movies. I love Nora Ephram. I love the sensibility of all of it. I'm going to read this. And then I mentioned it to all of you, and you were lovely enough to say that we would read it and have a conversation, because I love talking about books. So, there's Mary with the book right there. I read it on the Kindle. What did you guys read?
I did the audiobook.
Audiobook. Who was reading?
Oh gosh, Nora.
Was her? Oh gosh.
Yes.
Wow.
Which makes it even funnier.
Oh yeah.
That would be great, Ginger.
Yeah. She was great.
So I love it. So we all read. So I guess we'll just start by saying what you think. Who wants to jump in?
I think for an older female, it was perfect because it goes through every issue that we're dealing with or have dealt with, especially because I just turned 70. So the whole thing about losing people or people being sick and stuff, that just seems to be my world right now. So she found a way to make it at least pleasant and some things to laugh about, rather than just being such a Debbie Downer.
I thought so too. The same thing. When I got to that chapter, Jackie, I was like, okay, this is something I worry about all the time. Like my brothers, my sisters, my friends leaving this earth. And I thought, this is really a way to look at it differently. This is something digestible. I can manage this. And I felt like it really helped me, that part of it. Not that the book was a downer at all, you know, but it was really good that way.
Yeah, I think it really she made perfect sense. Life is about change and loss is inevitable. It's part of life, and as difficult as it may be, there's beauty in it.
I really liked the whole way that she, as a writer, has that observer, mind, and she could really share just that levity, that sense of perspective, and having that observer employed a lot of the time instead of being 100% in the I'm feeling this experience. It's just a really it's like quirkiness. And I really, so, like humor is an elixir for life. And I just thought, how interesting it would be to have that view, more often, that she just obviously it's just, wired into the way she sees things.
It's a certain glibness like that I just absolutely love. I mean, and she speaks in asides. Do you know what I mean? Like she'll say something and then she'll add something glib. I must tell you that one of my favorite lines that I cracked up on has nothing to do with aging or anything. Quite honestly, it does have to do with aging. She talks about body hair and hysterical when she says that she goes into the Upper West Side of Manhattan, who, as it turns out, specializes in something called threading, a fantastic and thrilling method of hair removal she had learned in Russia, and which, here's her aside in her glibness, as far as I can tell, is the only thing the Russians managed to outdo us in at 50 years of the Cold War. Well, that's just funny.
Mm-hmm.
That is just funny. That was my first time that I went, oh, that's just really funny. So I love the way, you're right, she has an observancy, but then all this wonderful funniness. Life is funny.
She cracked me up when she was talking about her rental in the city, and well, I'm just going to keep it because nobody else can get there. And then the price just kept going up and going up and going up. And now what am I going to do? Oh my God, they're kicking me out. It just was like, you just felt like you were on a merry-go-round with her as well when she was going through that in life. And I think about so many people as they're aging, all of those things that are happening to them where they're losing their homes, they're losing things and she just, she made it okay.
Yeah, you're right, Ginger. She made a lot of things okay. A lot of the book was very New York, right? She's such a cosmopolitan New York. I mean, every week she's going to the hairdresser and the nail place, and she's going to the Chinese takeout and the Vietnamese takeout and look, here's a Peruvian restaurant, which is very, very New York-esque.
And she can afford it.
And she can afford it.
And she's unapologetic about it all.
Yeah.
Too. That's what's really fun. Is she's just like, well, of course, this is how we live here,
Right. And I didn't realize she was married that many times, though, quite honestly.
Me neither. I had no idea.
It was kind of shocking to me. Not shocking.
It was surprising to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Surprising. Yeah. I mean, I loved When Harry Met Sally. I mean, and she did The Heartburn too. I read that book, Heartburn. I was trying to think of what other movies that she had done. She did Julie and Julia.
Yes,
and I love that.
Well, that was one of the things I loved about it was she was willing to just talk about and share and laugh at her own foibles. And so especially when she's describing all those romantic things and the way they all went. And I loved that. I think this is always intoxicating to me when someone is so willing to just air their dirty laundry and make fun of themselves and bring you in for the fun. That to me is just always super fun.
Do you remember the part where she talked about leaving the light on when you were having sex? Just laugh so hard. Still laughing about it.
Ginger, refresh me. I don't remember.
There was somewhere in there where she was talking about if you can't leave the light on with a person that, and I started laughing because they go, lights out, like, this is too funny, but yeah, I just, I think everything she talked about, and of course, Tim, it's not as much, so many of the things women go through, but aging it's inevitable, right? We're going to age whether we don't want to or not. And it's not always pretty, and as we age, we want to be, look nice. We want to look pretty. And guess what? She's right. You got to do this full time to keep it up, whether it's pulling those hairs or whatever it might be.
It's work.
It's work.
Go ahead.
No, I said, I often dream of living in the cold just to wear turtlenecks. And now I am being serious. I don't hate my neck. I just feel bad about my neck. It's definitely, you can do a lot of stuff to your face. You can do Botox, you can do filler, but a dead giveaway is the neck.
Yeah.
And,
Unless
go
you don't,
ahead.
if you look at Barbara Streisand, Reba McEntire, and Dolly Parton, somebody's doing their necks.
Yeah. Well, if you
They'll never share. I promise.
oh well, Dolly has said there isn't a part of my body that hasn't been touched. She's had it all done.
I gotta look at her neck now,
Yeah,
Jackie.
me too, because it's just as smooth and gorgeous as it can be.
Yep.
Well,
Well,
that was one of her points is that that everybody, her doctor said to her, "I can do your neck, but I have to do everything above it too." And she was like, "No."
it's just funny. I mean, I gotta look at these people now. Barbara Streisand, Dolly Parton, and who else?
Reba McEntire.
Okay, I gotta get on this.
They all have perfect necks now.
Yeah, people make fun of me, but I often pose for photos like this with my hand like
Wait a minute.
this.
Often? Always.
I feel bad. I kind of feel bad about my
I
neck
thought you were being thoughtful the whole time, Mary.
the whole time. Sometimes I'm being sweet.
And we say, stop it.
Yeah, I mean, Ginger always says, "Put down your hand."
I do.
I just,
Because there's beauty in what we are and who we are. And that really
I
is
know,
ultimately-
Ginger.
is really we have to love what we have.
Right. I agree. I mean, it's just funny. And I did especially like the purse chapter. I mean, when she talked about how she feels bad about her purse, this is one of the reasons why I want to say I don't carry a purse, because there is every odd little thing in it, including a spare Tic Tac. I don't need it. Like, so I kind of stopped carrying a purse. So for that reason. And, but I don't remember, did she buy the very expensive purse, or her friend bought the Kelly bag in Paris? That's,
I felt like she bought one too, but I can't remember.
well, she said you have to get on the waiting list for the Birkin bag. Okay, I don't know if any of us here are in any kind of shape, financial shape, to buy a Birkin bag, but we're likely not. So, nor a Kelly bag, nor would I buy one, but okay.
It costs
the
more
thing-
than a car.
The part about how much weird stuff is in a purse is
Yeah.
so true, and how dirty it is. And it made me actually look at my makeup case, and I was like, oh my gosh, my makeup case is repulsive. I think I'm going to wash it. And I did. I actually took it out of my purse and washed it, and it did freshen up. But now it's made me more aware that the purse I've been carrying for a while, it's like I'm afraid to really turn it inside out and see what that liner actually looks like.
It's
Time to
bad
let it
news. Yeah, just put your keys in your pocket, your lipstick in your pocket, and your phone in your hand, and you got it all. I have a phone with a wallet on the back, so really, I stopped carrying it. No,
You have to have extra supplies somewhere. Are they in your car? What? Come on, it's festive.
what supplies do I need, Tim? A tissue?
I'm not going to go down that conversation road at
Well,
all.
I don't need those supplies anymore. So,
And none of us need those supplies for some time. Thank God.
Tim.
Oh my God, did I walk into that? Okay.
Well, yeah.
Well, she usually has pants with pockets, so she can stuff her pockets. I
don't
still carry a
stuff-
purse.
Yeah, but it's tiny, Ginger. Show me
tiny.
your purse.
I don't have it with me. It's
Oh,
downstairs.
okay. It's like the
It's
size
not
of an envelope.
like this big. But my phone fits in it, my glasses fit in it, my IDs, a little lip liner, and I'm good.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, I've started carrying a personal man bag. So what the hell? Okay. Sometimes.
Wait till you see how dirty it becomes.
Yeah, well, just wait.
All right, go ahead, Kristen. What were you going to say? Let's move on.
There was a part that I really liked where she's like, in one breath, she's like, I had my second baby, or I had my baby. And then, 5 minutes later, I was getting divorced. And then she just prances right through, boop, boop, doo, doo, like nothing into the apartment story. and it was
Yeah.
like, I whoa, slow down. You're just had a baby and now you're getting divorced. But I think there is something about that mindset where um I think writers don't always dwell, like they may get back to that. But at this
Yeah.
now moment, the appealing and interesting thing is the apartment. Like maybe she'll grieve the loss of the marriage later, but she was into the aesthetic of this now moment and this new discovery and this apartment experience. And oh, I'm doing the New York thing. Sort of like, the drama of the moment that was the bigger drama, even then. Oh, yep, my marriage is over. And yep, I have a new baby. Okay, that's fine.
Now I can find my favorite Hungarian dessert or pastry or
Right.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like, well, this is really the issue here, not the things we would think of as the issue.
Right.
But that's part of why it was so much fun to read, is because
Yes.
that kept surprising you and you couldn't wait to see where she was going to wander off to next. And I loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
It was really good. Go ahead.
No, you go.
It was really good for me to read something, first of all, because I haven't been doing very much reading for a long time. I just got to a place in my life where I wasn't making space for reading. And so this was a book that I could read in little bits, and that was fine. I didn't need to give
Yeah.
it a lot of attention at any point. I could just be, okay, read the book, and just be in it, because of that spontaneity of the way she writes. You can just be in it for however long you're in it and then come back. And, you could pick any chapter out of this book and enjoy it just, as a standalone experience, which is pretty cool. It's more like, it's almost like little sections of a road trip, and I like that. And I probably will look for more, read some more. I've seen, a couple of her movies, and I love when Harry Met Sally. That is a fabulous movie. And so I think I'm going to do some more Nora.
Well, you should read Heartburn. It's really funny,
Yes.
very funny. And some of these chapters did appear as separate magazine articles.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of read where you could just pick it up. I read it on a cruise ship, and it lent itself perfectly to that, where I didn't have to be so serious in the book. I could just drop it and go play bingo or whatever I was doing. Didn't play bingo, but okay.
Martinis.
Okay, there.
So I'll jump in real quick. You mentioned the apartment story, but that was the part that really, well, all of it resonated with me, right? So even though I'm not an older woman, I'm an older person, and I resonated with a lot of it. And anyway, I don't know if because I'm a gay man, I was closer to it. I have no idea, but I loved it, and a lot of it resonated with me, all of it really. Anyway, she talked about the apartment, and the thing that was so amazing was she was like, they're going to have to carry me out of here feet first. Like, I'm going to be here the rest of my life. I loved that she used that phrase and how proud she was of it. It was everything to her, right? And then as you just mentioned, the rent kept going up, and suddenly one day it was just too much. And the way I should have pulled it up, but the way she said it was like, and just instantly it was done. And I was over it. And I was ready to go. And like, it was like this moment of turn. And the reason I mentioned that is because this is the exact experience I just had with our home that was the bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
Was that it was everything. We planned to be there until the end of our life, right? We loved everything about it. And it was wonderful. But like, there came this day when we were like, it's not quite working. We can't afford this. It's starting to really be difficult to make the budget work, blah, 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 blah. And like, we just immediately turned a corner. For me, it was like suddenly I was out of love with the house.
Right.
And it was like, once we decided we have to let this go, we have to let this dream go, we're going to do something different, blah, blah, blah. Like, I just was like, suddenly, boom. And I couldn't believe that she described that exact same thing. Like, she loved this apartment so much, the building, the vibe of it, the reputation, everything about it. And then suddenly one day, She was out of love. And I thought, my God, that's exactly what just happened to me. That was the most fascinating story to me. I don't know if anybody else has ever had an experience like that where just suddenly it was over.
No, I like to dwell, Tim.
Yeah.
Well, this was unique to me. Like usually I do a lot of overthinking about everything, but like this is really the way it happened. Just suddenly one day the flip switched. I mean, the flip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Switch flipped.
The switch flipped.
How about you, Jackie? Jackie, you've never had like a flip?
No.
So-
I've been in my house since 1989, and I have literally transformed the whole outside to be pollinator gardens and perennials and stuff. And it's like, I know there'll come a day when I can't take care of it any longer. But right now I'm in my element because the butterflies are coming through, and I'm just happy.
No, Jackie,
That's
you're going to be able to be
beautiful.
out there gardening till the very end. I guarantee it.
No, I don't
Yeah.
think so.
You don't want? I think.
Going.
So, did you have a certain part of the book that resonated with you, Jackie?
The whole maintenance thing. It's like, it's so expensive to try. And she talked about how her hairdresser gave her the highlights as a gift.
Right.
You know, ended up adding like 2 hours to her process of getting her hair dyed, and then it cost an extra $300. And it's like, I've never done the nail thing because I was a musician, and you can't play the piano with those nails. So I don't know about the nail thing, but everything else, all the maintenance, the upkeep, the expense, it's like, oh my gosh.
Been there, done that.
And once you start, you can't stop.
Right.
I have friends that are on the Botox wagon thing, and they can't get off. In fact, some of them are working really hard so they can afford it. And that, I'm like, well, wait a minute, what's wrong with this?
So you just go to bangs instead.
Oh.
Which I think your hair looks so good today, Jackie. I was going to tell you that.
Well, thanks. I worked really hard because it was so frizzy after working outside. I'm like, oh gosh, I have to wet it down. I have to get it down because it was a wild thing.
Good old Florida humidity.
Well, and you can see the decision I made with my hair. I was just like, I'm buzzing it. Like I'm not paying for any more haircuts. This is totally where I am.
But
My husband can zip
great
it.
job grooming your beard and your mustache.
Yeah, this I do have to deal with, and it's on the verge of going crazy. But I usually take it right to it starts to curl like Marlo Thomas's hair, and once it does that, like once I have that girl thing going on, I know I need to get in there, and yeah, that's my mark.
Tim and I once sang the entire That Girl song at some point because do we sing that? We just love that girl.
Well, of course we did, because remember we did that show where we wanted everybody to look like Marlo Thomas. It was the whole
and no one understood it except us.
Nobody got it but me and Mary, but we loved it. Jackie, you would have gotten it, right?
I would have.
If you saw the girls come out in the Marlo Thomas, like we talked about her the whole time, and nobody knew. We kept saying, "Go watch That Girl" episodes, and they were all those high school girls were like.
No.
Anyway, we loved it. They were adorable.
Adorable. I did want to share one of my favorite chapter, okay? And if you have the book, it's right past 116 because she doesn't number the chapter, but it's called On Rapture. And she talks about how this was a very serious chapter. I mean, even the one on losing her friends was not as serious as this one. Like this was the one that was very serious, but the words that she chose about books causing her to be in rapture, was so wonderful. The whole section on her childhood books, I mean, it was just so beautifully written, I thought. She said, I wanted so badly to be Jane Banks growing up in London with Mary Poppins for a nanny, or Homer Price growing up in Centerburg with an uncle who owned a donut machine that wouldn't stop making donuts. I mean, it's just, if you read those books as children, it's just so sweet and so special. And this was my favorite. And then she talks about books that she read as an adult. And I want you to know that I for some reason could not get into The Golden Notebook by Doris Lessing, which did cause her rapture, but could not do it. So I just thought that was my favorite chapter.
Well, reading for me as a kid was so important. I responded to that too, Mary, because nothing was more exciting to me in the summer than to go to the library and get my next 5 books for the week or whatever. I remember that as fondly as anything from my childhood. It was very, very special. And I still have some of my favorite childhood books, like James and the Giant Peach, my all-time favorite. You guys know James and the Giant Peach, right?
Yes.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
Raoul Dahl.
Yeah, that was my favorite book as a kid, but anyway.
I think it's like, it was important to me because reading has always been important to me in my childhood and in my life. So this was, I thought, a great chapter, a serious chapter that she wrote.
I think I'd like to share a poem. I mentioned to Tim that I have a girlfriend who is a poet and kind of has the same mindset as Nora Ephram. And I just thought, oh my gosh, that's so interesting. It just clicked. And then I told my friend that we were going to do this chat. And she goes, oh, I wrote a poem about Nora Ephram, inspired by Nora Ephram.
Wow.
So I know, isn't that interesting? So I'd like to read it. It's pretty short. If life were a rom-com instead of a poem, I could lean into cliche. He would be there walking, and I would bump into him. One clean shot zooming in our mutual disdain. We would fight about something. Can men and women be friends? Can I love someone sleepless or someone who would close my independent bookstore? Multiple angles here and multiple settings, a park, a living room, New York, Puget Sound, the top of the Empire State Building. In the midst of the comedy, we would learn things about each other and ourselves. Conflict one would start to resolve. He would save the bookstore, or I would, or we would, etc. The more interesting plot point, conflict two, also known as will they or won't they, and for which we already know the answer, would be a little less funny. I might be sad and have a bad cold. Lest the formula be too subtle for our audience, the light would soften and the music swell, announcing that something was happening. And then the inevitable first kiss, end scene, roll credits, reinforce myth. Doesn't life go from single, low, and lonely to coupled and onto increasingly positive outcomes? Under which logic we can all bask in a digital sunset before stepping out into the blinding hot white asphalt afternoon. So my friend told me that Nora got her through her first few years of professional work working in the field of domestic violence.
Wow.
So that lightness that Nora brings was the balance that she needed, to be in those more challenging environments. And I don't completely understand this poem, I will be honest, but there's a rhythm to it and an energy to it that is like Nora. So that I get.
And she makes, in the poem, there's a lot of references to the movies
Yeah.
and the books, and that I love, will they or won't they, and can men and women be friends? That's from Harry Met Sally, and Sleepless in Seattle, and You've Got Mail. And so I thought it was very, very, very cute, as well as, I guess maybe your friend knew that she had 3 marriages that all ended kind of poorly. So that's interesting.
Yeah. So my
Very-
friend, I want to credit my friend. My friend's name is Gina Tellini, and she just recently finished an MFA, and that poem was part of the work that she did for the MFA.
Cool.
Well, thank you, Gina, for sharing that through Kristen, and congrats. That's a wonderful poem. I'm wondering if, of course, your friend's point, I think, is that sometimes you need that unbelievably cheery story to be the counterpoint to the realness of life. I wonder if that's part of why Nora liked telling those stories too. You just mentioned, Mary, that maybe her own love life wasn't always as successful. Perhaps that was part of her own counterpoint to the realness of life. We all love those stories that we know they're going to end the way we want.
Yeah.
Right.
I also, I know I keep talking about the book, but I marked pages. That's why I read it a while ago. Over Labor Day weekend, over Labor Day week, we went on a cruise, my husband and Ginger and Kenny, her husband. But so I marked pages, but she has a whole chapter on things she had wished she had known. And she makes a list of things like, the emptiness is underrated. You can order more than one dessert. And you can't own too many black turtleneck sweaters, and amen to that. If the shoe doesn't fit in the shoe store, it's never going to fit, right? So I was inspired to start my own list of things.
I was too.
Tim.
I did. I started.
Can I hear something? I just want to hear something that's on your list.
Oh, gosh.
So I've been keeping them in my phone.
I'd have to pull up the document.
Oh,
the only one I can think of is not one I think I want to share.
Okay.
One was, anything you think is wrong with your body at the age of 35, you will be nostalgic for at the age of 45.
Yes. Gee.
I like the one that she said you can't be friends with people who call after 11 p.m.
That's for sure.
That's a no-go. Actually, for me, it's more like 9:30, but anyway.
Well, 9. I'm just going to share one of mine, even though it's quite, you may have to edit it out, Tim.
No, it's perfectly fine. We're all fine.
Okay. These are just life things, I called them. And I have a list of things like, tomorrow's another day, laughter truly is the best medicine, hard work pays off, and things like that, kind of like things that I think of, and I open the list on my phone and I just write it down. And this is kind of silly, but don't laugh at me, but you can wear jeans multiple times in a row, except if you're over 50 and you laugh and you sneeze.
Wow. I've never quite understood that. Never mind. I'm not even going to ask. Never mind. Moving on.
Different anatomy.
Yeah, that's all we need to say.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, I just thought of that. Like way a long time ago, you could wear people. They say to wear jeans weeks on end. I'm like, no.
Okay, I have one that I thought of a long time ago, and I don't have it worded perfectly, but essentially there's a reason why you should get married before you have a baby, and that's because once you start breastfeeding, no wedding dress will fit you.
Funny.
And Tim's trying to figure it out.
I'm pulling up my document. I am. I'm trying to see. If it seems too good to be true, it is.
That's a good one, Tim.
Here's another one I wrote down. If every gift from your Secret Santa is just the perfect thing, it's probably your best friend at your job. And this never occurred to me when it happened to me. We literally, everybody had exchanged Secret Santa gifts, and she and I are standing there. And I kept going, well, my person's not here. They knew me so well. I don't know why and then she's like, Tim. And isn't that ridiculous? And then I was like, oh my God, it's you, of course. Okay, anyway.
I love her. There's no point making pie crust from scratch. I mean, I've honored that kind of.
Ditto.
She does have a point there. By the way, I also loved that she mentioned one of the other chapters. She just sort of randomly mentions that her mother was always right. And her mother always said, never buy a red coat.
Yes.
I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. But then the red coat came back later in the book. She bought a red coat.
That's true.
And it was, and I'm going to just tell you honestly, no, she was not shopping in Macy's or, TJ Maxx, people. She was going to Barney's. She was
for the men.
Yeah, she was at a little higher end in terms of price point. Yeah, no. She's not going to JCPenney's.
Jacques Penney.
Yeah. or Target or anything
Target.
like that.
Okay.
I didn't realize that she wrote the screenplay for Silkwood,
Mm.
which was
Wow.
kind of a sad movie, you know? Sad, yeah, for sure. And I did realize that her sister was Delia Ephron, who also is a very, very funny screenwriter and author in her own right. So very
Yeah, she
funny.
mentioned something they were working on together. I don't remember which one it was.
Um, a lot of You Got Mail.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which
I
is
love
so.
You Got Mail.
Me too. Bring back those movies, please.
You know, I just watched that after I read the book. I was like, I want to watch a movie, one of her movies. So we pulled up You've Got Mail. I don't know, it didn't hold up quite as well as I'd hoped,
That's
but
what I was going to ask. Does it hold up, Tim?
well, I still enjoyed it completely. I think that's it was sort of its time more than maybe the others,
Mm.
but I still enjoyed it. And I mean, who doesn't? I mean, like Meg Ryan is just so lovable. Who can believe it? You know. So
Yeah,
Just
she's
interesting point. Her net worth 40 million.
Nora
Good
Ephron.
for her.
Mhm.
Good
Wow.
for her.
good for her.
Yeah,
She
good for
deserved it.
her.
She earned it.
Yeah, a sad end though. She died of cancer. A terrible.
Leukemia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, the pneumonia actually, I think, killed her, which ends up happening as everything else gives way.
Yeah, yeah, it's just sad. Yeah, I really enjoyed, and she's what a cute girl in her black sweater turtleneck on the back of the book. I want to see she's covering her neck. She knows how to do that. She's all,
Yep.
she's got it.
Well, why don't you just invest in a bunch of fancy scarves? Are they not in style?
Tim,
Mary wears them.
I wear them all the time. I have one beautiful scarf that my friend Tim Hinton got me in Italy, a Valentino scarf that I wear quite a bit.
It's lovely of you to say. That was one of my favorite things I've ever given anybody.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm in Italy, and like this looks exactly like Mary. You know,
Yeah.
like that's how it goes. You know, when you have good friends, and this has to go to her. Like it was no question. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
lovely. Yeah.
Great.
So,
I
any
may wear it
other
soon.
any other thoughts on the book?
I
overall?
want to say something when I think about this thing, I feel bad about my neck. I was raised by matriarchs and I don't really care about my neck. I'm just not that conscientious. I mean, I try to make myself deal with my appearance and look presentable and be professional-ish and, according to the role. As the mindful seer, I can wear my hair like this. I don't have to worry about having a nice little professional haircut. What's interesting is when I look back at the beginning pictures, that's what I look like because I was leaving the other world. And so I still had the little professional haircut and all that. But I'm really happy that I don't care about I don't feel bad about my body parts for the most part. Mostly I want to feel good in my body, and so like when I start to put on weight or things like that, then I just feel like a slug. And so I feel happy mostly about how I am, my neck and all of my parts at 62, that everything's mostly functioning, and I'm not on any like medication. And I don't know if it's because I didn't grow up in New York. I mean, I grew up in Clearwater, Florida. There's not much fashion sense. It's just like, are you covered and clean and appropriate, and are you covered, clean and appropriate? It's a different culture here. And I did have some jobs in different times where I needed to wear a suit or do whatever the things were, but really so little of my life have I had to meet really those really high standard cosmopolitan level of appearance, standards. I just really, it wasn't required for what I was doing. And yet, I like that stuff. It's fun to be, go and be fussed over or have your nails done and things. But, I did my nails like for 2 years, or I mean, for 2 years ago, for like 2 or 3 times. And I was like, that's just too much trouble. Yeah. So I think it's interesting to me how much, being in New York City or wherever you are would shape what you felt was important, and it's quite different for me and for many people who, never lived anywhere cosmopolitan. And when I have been in New York, I have not been able, I felt, to look right or move fast enough in New York.
move fast
I,
enough.
I can't. For me, getting the bagel, having the coffee, whatever, making the change, they're moving so fast, and I can't really function that quickly. And it was funny because several years ago, I was sent to a convention, a conference in New York City for work, and the clothes that I chose were so not right for New York. And I realized that when I got there. But I just it was an education, because everybody just wears black, and I'm just not in. Yeah, and I just
Ginger and I are both all head to toe
black.
black today.
Okay, yeah, and I'm not that. I'm really into color, so. I looked ridiculous. I was comfortable in what I chose, but compared to what was in the street, I was like, "Oh, you really missed the boat here." Once I saw what everybody was wearing, and it was okay, because I didn't have any, role to perform that would require that I look like everybody else. But it was just interesting to see what that's like. So for me, I love New York City, but I am a visitor there. I am completely a visitor, when I go to New York City. And I have a girlfriend who lives there, who's lived there for many years. She's an opera singer, and her what she needs to function in that city is just tremendous. The level of wardrobe that she needs, the level of grooming that she needs. It's very different, and so I can see why so much of that, permeated into what Nora writes about,
For sure. It's
Mhm.
very cosmopolitan. It's so
Yeah.
New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely felt, I'm just sharing what she wrote. There are chicken necks, turkey gobbler necks, elephant necks, necks with wattles, necks with creases that are on the verge of becoming wattles. There are scrawny necks, fat necks, loose necks, crepey necks, banded necks, wrinkled necks, stringy necks, saggy necks, flabby necks, mottled necks. There are necks that are an amazing combination of all of the above. It's funny.
It is funny, because it's such a magnification. I would never be able, if somebody said to me, describe the different kinds of necks, I would not be able to do it.
Yeah, she's a great writer. So I've loved this conversation. I've loved this book. I've loved that we've recapped it. What I would like to do is go around and just ask each of you to say one final thing about the book, or one little thing again that you loved. You can recap something that you said, but I'll give you each a second to think about that. But I would like to say that I needed a clever, smart, fun, relaxed read, and it was just the perfect thing for me at the moment that I chose to read it. And thank you for reading it too and having the conversation with me, because I so enjoyed it. And for whatever it's worth, as a middle-aged, older-ish man, I resonated with almost everything she said too. And I think that's part of her genius, was that getting older and navigating through the world is a human thing. Even though there are a lot of things that were obviously very specific to her life. So Ginger, I'll just randomly start with you. Just anything you want to say in closing about the book or about the experience of reading it.
I think as we age, I think it's not necessarily aligned with that, but that today's a gift and tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah, absolutely. Jackie, I'm so glad to see you again tonight and to spend some time with you. What would you like to say in closing?
I appreciate the fact that you made us aware of this book, because I read it on the plane coming home from a judging gig in South Dakota. And as Mary said, it was perfect. You could just start a chapter. I could take a nap on the plane. I could pick it back up again. I would laugh, and someone would say, "What's so funny?" And so I would read them part of the book. And then they were interested, and then they wanted to know more about Nora because they didn't know who she was. But you opened our eyes and introduced us. I knew her movies. I didn't know her books. So now I want to read Heartburn that Mary suggested and go in and read the other things that she wrote. I mean, what a shame that she left us so early in life. She's been gone over 13 years.
Wow.
And yet she's still relevant today. So thank you, Tim.
Oh, of course. And I think that's one of the wonderful things when you can leave a body of work that the world loves. What a wonderful gift and a legacy to leave. Kristen, what would you like to say in final thoughts?
I think overall, even though yes, she could be glib, I appreciated there was a sort of gentleness about the way she was looking at life, and I thought that was wise, and it just has like a healing quality to it that I really liked.
I like that. Mary.
I was thinking along the same things, like terrible things happened to her in this book, divorce, moves, all kinds of things. But she made it really light, and that humor truly is a great medicine. And from a lifelong overthinker as myself, sometimes just don't overthink it.
And Mary, of course, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Nah.
That's like so foreign to me. I can't even imagine. But I loved this conversation. I loved seeing all of your smiling faces. And thank you for taking some time to be here and have this conversation. So thank you guys so much.
Bye, everyone. Great to see everyone.
Bye, everybody. Great to see you.
Jackie, have a wonderful judging season.
Thank you.